Hello again, folks, friends, Monsketeers of all ages. What do you say we ride the Carousel of Progress? Well, I guess watch the Carousel of Progress. To call this a ride would be very, very charitable because it's not much of a ride, but it's one heck of a show. And one heck of a show that you'll only be able to catch down at the Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World. This is not something that you'll find in Disneyland, which is a bummer. Disneyland was my home park growing up, and the Carousel of Progress, was not a gem I was able to discover until adulthood when I went to the Magic Kingdom for the first time with my wife. This is, if you ask me, and in my humble opinion, this is an absolute must-do every time, every visit. It's iconic, truly iconic. It's a Walt Disney, specifically Walt Disney original. You know, it's like one of those attractions that he took a lot of pride in, from what I understand. That's what the narrator is saying right now. But if you want to hear that, you should probably go and check out our ride through, where it's without my commentary. So you can just experience the ride. But if you're here on the Vloggentary episode, I presume you want to hear what I have to say. And I'll do my best to continue to say things, because this, I get sucked in. I get really sucked into this. It's one of my favorite attractions ever. And hot take, it's the song, Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow, one of the greatest Disney songs of all time. And that, I'm including the movies in that. I'd say top 5. And if you haven't heard it, well, brace yourself. And there's several versions, because the song changes as we progress through time, which is just a whole... Listen. Every day, there's a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow is just a dream away. And that's a start. He follows his dream with mind and heart. And when it becomes... Okay. My wife also really enjoys this attraction, but I don't know if it's for the same reasons I do. I think she likes it more because it's just a phenomenal place to, escape the heat, soak in some air condition, take a power nap. I'm pretty sure she's power napped every time we've been on this ride together. One of the most soothing voices on the planet right there. I would listen to his podcast for sure. And he should have a podcast. Could you imagine that? The podcast would be called The Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow Podcast. And it would just be whoever the narrator's voice is right here. Whoever this is. It would be this voice just discussing technology. I just created the world's best podcast. That can only be done by one man. So don't try to steal that idea, because it won't work, because you're not this guy. You don't have this guy's voice. But what a great idea, right? Welcome back to the Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow podcast. What's this guy's name? I know I should know it, but I don't know it. But anyway, this guy's name. Today we're talking about Neuralink. Yes, sir. Mother. I don't know why I said it like that. He didn't say it like that. I think it's cool that it's behind like a shroud to signify it's a separate room, so we're kind of looking through the walls. And they're able to switch the scenes, because if you don't know, this attraction, what do they call it? I wanted to say Omnimover, but that's not right. The Omnimover, that's like Rise of the Resistance and Runaway Railway. Like the independently moving cars. That's not right. But this attraction just keeps going. It just keeps playing its loop continuously. I'm losing my train of thought. I'm getting too sucked in. His lumbago was acting up. Did you know that? What is lumbago, by the way? It looks pretty bright outside to be rainy, at least out the window on the left. Wow, stereoscope. Isn't that interesting, the stereoscope? It was basically a magnifying glass, from what I can understand. So you just sit there for hours gazing into this thing you had to hold up to your face. Well, I guess that's no different than a cell phone. Big, beautiful tomorrow. Progress.
Yes, Patricia?
See, look at this. Ingenious, being able to change the scenes like that.
That's our teenage daughter. She's getting ready to go to a Valentine's dance across town. One of those new horseless trolleys.
I think it's very
Don't know where the most optimal place to sit is, to be honest with you. Clearly in the middle. But if you're sitting at the back, you get a pretty good wide view of the whole set. But the closer you sit, you get to see through those like veiled areas a little bit better. At least that's how I feel. So if you're venturing down, keep that into consideration. You want to see more, sit further. But you want to see more, sit closer. You know? Day, there's a great big beautiful tomorrow, and tomorrow is just a dream. Look, listen, song switching. There we go. He follows his dream with mind and heart. Where are we now? Is this the 20s, or did we just leave the 20s? No, I think we're in the 20s now. Well, it's a great big beautiful tomorrow. I think it's hilarious, all the extension cords in this scene. Just a dream away. Is that how it was, though? Everything had to be extension cord, I guess, because the lights would have been like the source of electricity. Yeah, we are in the 20s. Yeah. Spoilers, he makes it. No, he does. I also enjoy the changing of the seasons. So I think we started in spring. Here we are in summer. Al Jolson. Schwartz. I mean, who wouldn't? You know, there's a time, that's a real thing. There was a time where you had to crank your car from the outside with a giant, a giant crank. Lever. Look at all that electronic innovation. Yikes. I wonder how often that actually did happen back then. I suppose fairly frequently if they're referencing it in this.
Hurry up with that fuse.
Shucks.
He blows a fuse, and guess who always has to change it?
I heard
You.
that, young man.
You do.
I heard that.
Oh, well, that's more like it. John, yours is the last costume I've got to finish before the parade starts.
Sarah's Ladies Club is responsible.
Is that outside?
for our town's Fourth
That looks
of
like she's
July
sitting outside, right?
celebration tonight.
Yeah.
She's got us all roped into performing in their program,
And I've
right?
decided we're going as George and Martha Washington.
Oh, the father of our country. That's a role that really fits me.
I love his voice
glad
so
we
much.
installed an electric light
And this is so difficult to stay focused and to keep my end of this going.
You know, next
Because really
year
all I
I'd
want to
like
do is
go as
watch.
Benedict Arnold.
Wait until you see what I've got planned for the fireworks show tonight.
What does she have planned? We never learn what she has planned.
And guess who?
Somebody write some fan fiction where she, we learn what happens. And keep it, PG, okay?
Oh, that's a nice tune, Jimmy.
I realized saying write some fan fiction could have opened some doors to,
We can get
dark
news and
dimensions.
big-time entertainment from all over the country, even Pittsburgh.
Even Pittsburgh. That little boy,
Oh, Patricia.
if you sit close and really look at his face,
On the radio says
he's
folks
a
are
creep.
arriving downtown.
Kinda just, it's like tones of Chucky in his face. I think he's missing a tooth in this
You'll
particular
always have that
scene.
torch you can carry for him. Calm down, Rover. I was
Rover,
By the way, we
doesn't Rover look like the dog from Fraggle Rock?
on cold nights.
I think that every time. What was the dog's name? Sprocket? Fraggle Rock?
Taken over the coolest spot
You
in the
know
house,
Fraggle
of course,
Rock.
and he's rigged up
And if you don't know Fraggle Rock, well, you
he calls it
change that.
air cooling.
Is that on Disney Plus?
Too bad he's not reading the help wanted ads.
Orville.
Orville. Considering
Orville.
all the... Oh, coming, Martha, as I was saying, considering all the conveniences we now have, I'll say that we're really on easy street. these
I mean, I
days.
couldn't agree more. It doesn't get easier in the 1920s.
This goes to show that there's a
Great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Running at the end of every day. So we leap 20 years, I believe. So we're going to end up in the 40s here, if memory serves me right. And I bet you it does. He follows his dream in mind and heart, and when it becomes a reality,
It's a dream come true.
for you and me
So there's a great big beautiful
tomorrow.
shining at the end of every
Oh boy.
There's a great
Fall. Here we are. Keeping consistent with. And you know what? I say it does jump 20 years for the first 3 scenes, but the last scene jumps like 60.
fabulous 40s. Everything is better
Well,
than
almost
ever
60.
now. And we've got some amazing new wonders
Probably like
around
40.
the house to prove it. For instance, our refrigerator holds more food
Um,
than ice cubes. And thanks to our automatic
I don't know why,
I don't
but the fact that the pumpkin on the floor there
gives Rover and
isn't a jack-o'-lantern,
our evening stroll together.
it, I'm a little disappointed about that.
Here's something else that's new.
I wish it were.
I just heard a new term today on the radio.
What is it?
Fella says
Oh, yeah.
we've got something now called
Rat race.
You ever hear that one? It sure describes my life. I'm involved in something now.
This is the most depressing line in the whole thing. Yeah.
And the highway is crowded with fellow rats going the same way.
That's what they call progress, dear.
Yeah, his breakdown of the rat race all bums me out
We do have
every time.
television when it works. Gives you something to do after you come home. I kind of like it, you know?
Television, I kinda like it.
Swayze gives us all the news. And then they have all this singing and dancing. A lot of fluff, but it's fun.
Yeah,
You know, I predict the day.
on all the
many
one
people
channels.
will learn Latin and Greek sitting in front of their TV.
Well, 2 maybe. 2 in this scene at least. I like Grandma's spunk.
Give him a left.
Ah, yes, a new age of electronic civilization is upon us.
Hey, Dad.
Hey, Dad.
Jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, boy, that's scary.
That's because I'm using my beautiful sister Patty's picture for a model.
Down, Rover. Rover appreciates your joke.
Now, you're always kidding poor Patty.
In this, because you can't really tell from way back here, but you sit closer, he's got full-blown Wolfman makeup going on. They had him all decked out.
You hear that?
So that's what I'm talking about. You get a better view of everything from the back, because I'm sitting in the back
20s.
currently, or we are, since we're viewing this together. But I've sat closer, and I don't have a favorite, but I've used one of those things, those little hip shaky motor thingies. Yeah, They're at like a rockabilly barbershop / tattoo shop back home in San Diego. Yeah, the owner had one of those in the shop, and it worked. And took it for a spin. It's terrible. You definitely feel like your guts are turned into some sort of like gelatinous mush.
You're lucky, Rover. You don't
It can't be good for your insides.
Well, we're caught up in the do-it-yourself craze these days. We're remodeling our basement.
DIY.
Called a rumpus room.
A rumpus
And we're looking
room.
forward to a few rumpuses
Still don't know
on
what that is.
As long as they don't get out of hand.
John, this papering is getting out of hand. I could use a little help.
Now, Sarah,
And that scene always kind of gives me anxiety too, because I'm just like, oh my gosh,
Yes, John.
the wallpaper looks terrible.
Of course, this will ruin my food mixer.
She's just gonna have to do it again. It's not gonna look right. She's gonna be super disappointed at the end. And it makes me feel bad for Sarah.
what happened, Sarah?
Oh, you and your progress. That paint mixer. Across my room.
This is like a really like anti-progress scene.
How do you like that? I always say if you're going to be married, marry a girl with a sense of humor. Well, it's time to move on. Let's cheer up Sarah by singing our song.
Yeah, let's do it. A great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Best. Right? And each version, too. Love it. See, look how far we jump in the future here. This has to be 40 years. Right? Well, I guess 40 years would only be the 80s. So it's got to be like more like 60 years, like I said. Because Grandma and... what's his name? The kid? They're playing VR. Just a dream away. Dun, dun, bum, bing, bang, bing, boom, boom. So the scene has been updated since shooting this. I have another ride along that I'll be doing with the updated version, so keep an eye out for that. But this is how it used to look before how it looks currently, because it doesn't look like this anymore. Spoilers, Grandma is awesome at this.
Okay, get ready. You're about to blast off.
Here goes nothing.
Such a cozy looking home, right?
Ooh, you missed him.
Hey, everybody. I'm done programming our new voice activation system.
Now all our household items will do anything we tell them to do.
Great. Tell the refrigerator to bring me a room.
I like his voice too.
It can't quite do that. But I'll show you something it can do. Tree lights
There's Sprocket.
30% brighter.
And if you don't know what I'm talking about with Fraggle Rock, look it up. Look up.
Oh, that's no big deal. Anybody can do that voice acting.
I love that voice. I love that voice so much.
Rover, speak.
But anyway, yeah, look up Sprocket from Fraggle Rock and compare him to Rover here. Same dog. I'm telling you, same exact dog.
375.
Look at that.
Do you think he has to say 375? He couldn't say 375.
Yeah, right, Dad.
That's something that's always kind of
To the right.
Remember
seemed odd to me as well.
last year?
Yeah, that thing really smoked up the place when it burned, didn't it?
We ended up microwaving frozen pizzas.
Microwaving frozen pizza. I've never tried that. I'm an oven guy. But I guess their oven...
Ooh, good shot.
I don't know. They didn't really say the oven was broken. Just that he burnt the food.
Did you say 550? Hey, she's getting the hang of that thing.
All the new gadgets they've got now. You know, in my day,
Oh no, you're not going to tell us about the old days when you didn't even have a car phone.
Well, you guys are all from the old days. The only person that has seemed to age is the little boy. Because she seems the exact same age.
everything's automatic.
Grandpa and Grandma actually seem younger, somehow. And then the boy is the only one who's aged any, but not enough for how far they've jumped into the future from the 40s.
You know, my grandpa told me the very same thing when I was a kid.
Take that, you nincompoop!
Nincompoop.
Dad, Grandma's up to 975 points.
Wow, 975.
John, what's wrong with the oven?
What?
Way to go, John. Oh, his name's John.
Anyone
What's his last name, do you think?
Oh, another Christmas turkey ruined.
It might be okay, just look crispy.
Smoked those guys. Looks like I'm resident flying ace now.
Oh.
Best 2 out of 3, Grandma.
Later, kid. Boy, that was fun. What will they think of next?
Who knows?
We've got a whole new century waiting for us out there.
Yeah, and maybe sometime in the new century, your father will learn how to talk to our oven.
Maybe by then ovens will read our minds.
I don't want that.
Hey, as long as
Neuralink,
we're
I do
all
want that.
here and happy and together for the holidays, who cares if I burned our Christmas turkey?
Yeah, come on. It's about family. Being together.
Don't worry, Dad. Someday everything's gonna be so automated you won't ever have to cook another Christmas turkey again.
Rover. Beautiful tomorrow. Each version is perfect. Yeah, top 5 Disney songs. Changed my mind. And that's a start. He follows his dream with mind and heart. It's a dream come true for you and me. Oh, that's Power. I was like Powerline singing that. Well, I can't recommend it enough. Soon here, you're going to hear my son Bane say, "Dad, that was the dumbest thing ever."
Thank you for joining
And,
us on Walt Disney's
you know,
Carousel of Progress. We hope you've enjoyed this
it's,
trip to the 1964 Carousel of Progress.
It's a challenge for younger kids because it's a lot of sitting still and watching, and that's not, at least my kids. You hear him? Yeah. That's the dumbest thing ever. Well, he's wrong. And I think as he gets older, he'll realize that because, I mean, or maybe it's just one of those things that I'm just going to love. And that's fine too. But either way, don't skip out on it. Truly. And yeah, thanks for being a friend and telling a friend. See you next time.